To another episode of That Crazy Triangle Guy. Here we are looking at Bitcoin US dollar index on the 1 day time frame. And if you can see it through all these crazy lines, but they all serve a purpose. The main lines I want to call to your attention currently are these green dotted lines. They represent the bottom, the mean, and the top of the daily Gaussian channel. The blue dotted line, all of these dashed lines with small dashes represent Gaussian channel on the various time frames. This blue one is I'm gonna have to zoom out. I believe it's the top. It's the top. Yes, the mean band is down here. I haven't moved that over yet. The mean band of the 5 day Gaussian channel is right here, and the top is right here in blue. Now, this red line up here represents the top of the weekly Gaussian channel. So the top of the daily, the top of the 5 day and the weekly Gaussian channel are crossing right here. The other two lines that are significant are this orange and green dashed line, which is a major trend line of support and resistance at times. But we've always traded along this line. This line has dictated price action since 2013 or 2011. 2011, I believe. It I don't want to zoom out now, but it touches the peak in 2013, I guess that would be. And then this orange line, it extends to the top of our all-time high, our recent all-time high, or our all-time high in general, and then also connects right here. So just 2 points. However, it has price action has stayed within there. Well, actually, very much so. Yeah, let's zoom out. Let's see how price action has been dictated by this main line. Now, much earlier, everybody was looking at a different trend line. See here, and we have traded below it. It's a trend line. It's not a whatever. It's not a wall. And it goes all the way back here to the high of 2011. 2011, that would be. And ever since then, Bitcoin has used it as support somewhat, at times falling through it briefly, but it has always dictated where price is going and the direction and the rate at which price is changing since 2011. So, we are coming to a head, obviously, between this and we're coming to a vertex here as these lines come together, and that is last chance of being inside those lines is November 3rd, Friday, November 3rd. So before that time, we will be above or below those lines. Um, Now, we've just crossed below the mean band of the daily Gaussian channel here. And, you know, surprisingly, I think I'm shocked that it was acting as resistance to us here for several days over the weekend, a couple days last week. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and now we've broken back above it, which is a good sign. We want to see a candle body close above there Um, so this is what we've done. Essentially, when price action re-enters the Gaussian channel here on the daily time frame, we shoot straight up through it and continue on up through it. So I believed we would be going into this green circle here. We did move into it here from where I was calling it back here, but we got rejected here. And if I zoom in, we'll see why. Because I have also have some moving averages turned on. Right, right here where we got this rejection was in red is the 200 day, in orange is the 100 day, and in this light blue is the 200 weekly moving averages. All those crossed right there, as well as this other trend line that I've drawn is part of some sort of a top of a triangle. So I had thought, since they were all crossing, we would just shoot through them in one fell swoop and move up in this direction. But it was a pretty powerful group of banding there to get across, and we saw a rejection. So that's shouldn't be surprising. Excuse me. These ones down here are the 50 day and the 200. So I'm sorry, 50 day and the 20. It's like 200 without that extra zero. Um, I can't imagine that would give us much of a problem getting above that. So what I do see here is that what's interesting. So now all these moving average lines are separating. They're going their own ways. They met up. They met up back here to block us. Now they're separating, and I think they'll be easier to get through now. So once we cross above the 20, I see it's like as soon as this week starts continuing our move upward. A lot of times over the weekends, we'll just consolidate. Um, and I think the main thing is because people know that if we form a gap, we're just going to go back down and fill it. So nobody does anything really on the weekends. And the one thing that I'm looking for is that gap that we don't fill. And I think that's going to be a huge move where a lot of shorts get liquidated because it'll be shortened to fill that gap. It'll never get filled. And that's when we see a squeeze and a nice massive move upwards, a big, huge move. Um, I'd really, really like to see that because price action is being held down. All the Bitcoin is being bought up. It's really, really scarce. And now, as Crypto Zombie has said, and I have no reason not to believe him. I think he's a pretty, upfront guy. He says he talks to some of the people that on the OTC market, and they said they're having a tough time scrounging up Bitcoin for the OTC orders. So I've it seems to make perfect sense to me, and I don't know why he would make that up. So the top of the daily Gaussian channel is right here, and the 200 daily. Those two will be crossing. I think Bitcoin could get through those, and then you have the two. That's 100 daily. This is the 200 daily, and so Bitcoin could get through those. The 200 weekly is back here, and will be probably coming up this way a little bit. I think it's on an upwards trajectory. Yes, that one will be coming up here. So I see us over the next few days breaking through the top of the Gaussian channel on the daily time frame, and then maybe bouncing around in this area here because you have the 200 daily, you have the 100 daily, 200 daily. Oh, I'm sorry. We will cross through the 200 daily. It'll act as support, as will the top of the daily Gaussian channel. The 200 I have too many hundreds I'm talking about. I think I just said 200. We will cross above the 100 daily, as well as the top of the Gaussian channel. They will then act as support, and the 200 daily and weekly here will be resistance, as well as this orange um, line, a trend line here. So we will bounce around in this area probably a little bit between the top of the daily and these other lines here um, throughout the next week, or at least several days. Um, so I will have to draw another circle there. However, now, so we mentioned before, the top of the 5-day and weekly are crossing right here. So maybe we see see a spike up to here on Monday. Really? I don't know about that. Monday or Tuesday, possibly, and a rejection off of that at around 28.8. You know, I'd look for that. I'd look for a rejection off of here because there also the 28.8 is coming, and that might not happen till later on in the week when these all move together. I forgot about that one. 28.8 is a key line of support and resistance that's we've either been trading below or above. Um, so, we got all this stuff here. Lots of lines of support, major support and resistance that need to be broken through. Might see some rejections and uh, holding them as, fighting to get through them, then holding them as support, one right after another. So if we do break through this orange triangle, this one right here, uh, you know, this makes sense. Possibly when we do break through it, we'll come up here, see a rejection, come back down, retest it. We might also see these lines converging over here. See a retest at the top of this triangle at about 27.9 next week. You know what? This all could be playing out in the next couple of weeks. And then that's what I saw before. I've always been talking about mid to late October is a big move. So let's move this circle. Can I move this guy? Come on. Let's move him over here. I was off just a little bit. Actually, let's move him like right here. And let's draw another one. Let's draw another one right in there. So let's kind of draw out what I'm thinking could happen here. So this will take us into the weekend. Maybe we'll just hang out around here in the weekend. Let's see a move upwards here with the rejection. You know what? Let's maybe give it a couple tries there. Oh, I just ended my thing. Well, something like that, and then well, I can't leave it like that. We can't leave it like that, can we? We got to do it to the moon. To the moon. There we go. That's better. So I'm seeing the next couple weeks play out something like that. Oh, look at that! Look at my to the moon arrow. It matches up with this arrow right here. Uh, about almost 30,000. And where did I get that from? No, that was the target I pulled from this green triangle that we had been trading in. Let's see, all this stuff falls into line. Um, but the target from this larger orange triangle is up here. This green line at about 35. I don't know who that is. 35 290. Yeah, that should get us to the top of the into the 30. I've been looking at 37, 38 for our next range, or where we quickly move up to, and then so yeah, maybe this would act as support here, 35 something, and our top of the range would be around 38 or so. Um, but I do believe I have predicted we will be okay. So there's our purple line that we need, our overall purple line that I've drawn way back when. Um, so we're kind of falling behind schedule. We need to catch up a little. Well, we're really not. I'm always just ahead of schedule. I really am. So if we see this 60, 58 to 62,000 maybe sometime later in January, or uh, that's fine too. And then a pullback to 48 for the halving event. Something like that. All right. We got things to do. Let's get out of here and we'll see you next time. Like, subscribe, and got to watch these videos. There's a lot of good info in these videos, and it's spot on. These lines are spot on. One thing I will comment on is like a lot of people like to make fun of TA and line drawing and stuff like that, and they think, oh, they're also much smarter and sophisticated if they use these oscillators and um, whatever, all these other kinds of indicators with these waves and colors and dots and stuff like that. All that stuff is based off are formulas that come from the price action. And lines on a chart are formulas. When people use the like the stochastic or RSI these oscillators, these momentum oscillators, what they're doing essentially, and I'll make a video on this. Well, we can even look at it right now on the daily. Um, you have the stochastic oscillator here. The white is the fast moving. It goes up at the bottom of this range, and then the top it turns down when we hit the green trend line. This part of this triangle. I could have told you that looking at the triangle, and momentum shifted downwards. And then down here at the bottom of the triangle, guess what? We're at oversold conditions, and it goes back up. The oscillator is simply telling you what's going on within a triangle. And right here again, we continue to move up. And see right here, we had kind of like a stall out. Well, I could have told you here that price action would have continued up to the top of this green line as it did. It wasn't going to turn around right here. Momentum wasn't going to shift. It was going to continue up to the top of this green triangle and then reverse as it did. So that's all this momentum do. This this oscillator is simply showing you the oscillations within this triangle. It doesn't make you any smarter. Actually, they're stupider. This gives you false signals here. It doesn't tell you anything except for what price action is currently doing and what you could derive from looking at a smaller time frame. That's all it does, really. Um, Now, I guess a lot of people like to use uh, what do they call them? Bearish, bullish, and bearish divergences too. I'll have to look into that and see if it also is something that can be simply seen from the triangles and price action. I imagine all it has to do with is whether it's an ascending or a descending triangle or maybe a symmetric triangle. It probably just has to do with the shape of the triangle. I should really look into all that and do a video on it. So these lines are what dictate price action, and they're pretty solid. They are pretty solid lines. So, okay. See you next time.